Nothing changes instantaneously. In a gradually heating bathtub, you'd be boiled to death before you knew it. Our Father, who art in heaven. Seriously? What the actual fuck?
Gilead doesn't care about children. Gilead cares about power.
Why does healing have to be the only goal? Why can't we be as furious as we feel?
For whatever man sows, so shall he reap.
Welcome to Above the Garage.
Hi, friends. We have such a fun interview for you today. Our new buddy Derrah came to chill with us, the drawer of the Handmaid's Tale storyboards, as well as so many awesome shows and movies, including Shining Girls, Game of Thrones, Saw Spiral, It, and many more. Hope you enjoy our chat with him as much as we did.
Good morning.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Awesome. You guys are from all over the world. Is that correct?
We're an international conglomerate. No, Kimberly is from Australia. I'm in Philly. And Violet is our editor, by the way. You usually talk to me or Kimberly on social media, but here's Violet. She's awesome.
Hey.
Yeah, because I'm not a morning person at all. So I'm like
Me neither.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's true of everybody here.
Yeah, it is definitely.
I can attest to the other two not being morning people either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kimberly can hide it because in Australia, when she wakes up at like noon, it's like midnight for me, and I'm not paying attention to the time, but she's the least morning person, I think.
Yeah.
And don't mind me, I'm going to be chugging coffee this whole time and a giant bottle of water here. So
Same. It's okay.
That's all right.
We all get that.
I have Red Bull, so.
Oh, you have a Red Bull? I have that too. I didn't want to show. I was too embarrassed. Oh my God.
It's sugar-free too. Oh,
Twins.
you're my people. Yeah.
I know. They're actually amazing. I drink them at work all the time. It's so bad for you, but.
I have officially quit. Kimberly thinks, but here I am outing myself.
I know, what the fuck? You're supposed to have quit that.
I'm doing a lot better, but
I used to bring those into the Handmaid's Tale office. I would bring I'd buy a bag and it would be 6 Red Bulls in. They would just sit in my desk drawer.
How do you feel when you buy the 6? I feel so judged as the cashier.
I know, yeah.
I do it anyway. Occasionally I say it's not all for today, even if it is, but
No.
I feel very judged.
You're gonna have a heart attack next podcast.
It's kind of shameful.
Yeah, it's very shameful. I'm glad it's not just me.
At least it's sugar free though, right? Yeah.
No, I think that makes it worse.
Yeah, I think that makes it
If I could rewind, I would go.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, funny.
It's not something I'm proud of. But anyway, thank you. I'm glad that you're one of my people. You were traveling recently too, right?
Yeah, so I was in Thailand and Singapore for 6 weeks.
It felt like you were there for a long time per your pictures. It looked awesome.
It was incredible. I've been to Thailand before, but Singapore, that place is 75 years in the future. It's the architecture, it's the cleanest place in the world. There's no crime.
Yeah.
You feel super safe walking down the streets at any hour. It was unbelievable and amazing climate as well.
Yeah.
And every skyscraper, if you build a skyscraper there, you have to replace the same square footage of the nature that you destroyed to build the building.
That's so
Oh, wow.
smart.
They reserve 4 or 5 floors and they build a rainforest. Every building has a rainforest within it. It's absolutely crazy.
That's incredible.
That is cool.
Little nerd fact there.
No. That's a very important fact. Wow. I wish everyone did that. I literally have never heard that, but I have heard how amazing Singapore is. So I need more Asia. I went to China once.
I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
And they have fantastic restaurants, the food, of course.
Even when I was in, I really like Thai food, but when I was in Hawaii, which is just not even that close to Thailand, but closer, I was at a Thai restaurant and they were like, how spicy would you like this on a scale from 1 to 10? And I literally said, I think either 3 or 4. And it was inedibly spicy to
It's
my
spicy as fuck. Yeah.
American. Yeah. I think I forced it down, but it was misery.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah. Their version of spicy is when you're there, especially for 6 weeks, you get so acclimated to it. I absolutely love spicy food now. And then when I come here, it's not even close to the level of spice that's required. Now
Doesn't
the palate. Yeah.
You have to actually move to Asia now to please your palate.
Actually, that's a plan for me personally.
Is it? Because you could, right?
Everyone's working remote nowadays. We all have Zoom, and the cost of living there is, far less expensive than say a place like Toronto. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you guys have crazy public transportation there with people wielding weapons, right?
Oh, in Toronto, yeah, it's like
Yes.
total like it's part of my language, but it's like it kind of turned into a shithole. It's like 1970s New York here. I don't know
Yeah,
what happened.
well,
It was probably the pandemic or something.
yeah.
Mm.
I mean, America's got that too.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say anything. I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah, I
all
live in Philly, so
it's everywhere.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the one place you won't find that is, Singapore or even Thailand. Actually, it's very safe there. They
Yeah.
have transit there as well, like sky trains, and they are absolutely like immaculate.
Hmm.
Yeah.
People are super friendly, super helpful.
I bet.
Yeah, I don't want to hype it too much.
I'm pretty hyped.
We're all buying plane tickets like right now.
Well, and they're gonna do White Lotus in Thailand next, right? You should hop on that project, sir.
Yeah, I've never seen this show personally.
No, it's good. That's why I went to Italy. So maybe we will be in Thailand next year. You have a very cool studio, sir.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you. Yeah, my girlfriend, she sees like a blank wall. She like feels the need to paint like giant murals and
Unblanking it.
abstractions on the wall, so I just let her do what she wants.
That's really cool. My sister-in-law takes photos like that, like angles of like buildings and things, and they're very cool. She's got a wall like that, and I like it.
Very cool.
I was wondering if you just worked for a company that did this, or you worked out of your home, or if you actually went to the Handmaid's office for like Handmaid's drawings.
So I'm like my own company basically.
Okay, I thought so from your website.
The only employee as well. So I definitely work in the studio. I don't always work in the studio. Usually the beginning of the season, we'll have our prep phase, and I come into the studio and I'll be there set up. Like I have my own office there in the art department now, and I will be there for the first maybe half of the season, and I'll work out of the studio, and then usually once everything is kind of like locked down, and I'll move back home and I'll just work from home, and I'll come in like twice or three times a week to do meetings with like the director.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I kind of have a flex thing going on, and that's mainly due to COVID. That's where the flex thing started.
Yeah.
We had to wear masks even in our offices. So if you have an office and you share with someone, which I did, you have to wear a mask the entire like 12 hours that you're there every day.
Mm.
So it gets a little like I'm trying to draw like 40 storyboards. These are like intense drawings. I'm sitting there, I'm like, deadlines, oh my god, and I'm wearing this
Yeah.
mask. Like I can't concentrate, I can't breathe, I need lots of oxygen. And when I work at home, I can get up and I can walk around and get a coffee. You can do that there too, but you have the mask thing, and it was just getting in the way of my productivity, I felt.
Yeah,
So
you got to be comfortable.
Yeah.
that's the perk of like working from home.
Working from home. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Working without pants on is my main perk.
Pants free.
She is odd about that. I wouldn't even ask her if she has pants on right now.
I have them on today. I'm being respectful.
for the
Okay.
interviews.
Yeah.
That's nice. I'm gonna go all out.
Like season 4, I was there every single day in the studio, or I call it the studio, but really it's like a production office with a bunch of offices. There's like a bullpen in the middle. I love working in the office. It's like the best art department I've ever worked with on this
Yeah.
show.
Cool.
We're all friends
cool.
outside of work. We all keep in touch, and it's just a great vibe there. It's a surprising vibe, to be honest. Like I've been on since the very beginning of the show, but just like the lightheartedness, the spirit of the show, like everyone is just always in a good mood. We're always laughing and joking around.
That's awesome.
And you contrast that with the show's content, which is like
Yeah.
ultra dark and like,
Mhm.
so that's kind of cool. Like, we have a really cool, pleasant vibe there. And for the most part, it's a great place to work. Let me put it that way.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's awesome. I wonder if masks will persist throughout the next.
Indefinitely.
I guess they probably will, but
I think it's going to be an indefinite thing. If COVID exists in the world,
which it will.
productions are going to force mask wearing, because you can't have the actors getting sick, right? Because that
Right.
shuts everything down. If they're not able to work, everything is shut down. If I get sick, no, it doesn't matter. Even if like certain department heads get it, it doesn't matter. But you can't let the talent get it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I saw that you do you do like a lot of Comic-Con type events and stuff like that?
Oh, I absolutely do. Like on my own free time, I do a lot of different things like within the art space. So
Mhm.
I'm a nerd. I was raised on comic books and graphic novels, and like one of my like goals in life was to be a graphic novelist or a comic book artist. And so one day my friend, he's an author, his name is Luke Henderson, he approaches me with this like script, And he's just like, do you want to make a comic? And I'm like, let's go. And I just sat there for 2 months. I was like in between jobs. I was like freelance. And I just drew like a 120-page graphic novel in like 2 months, like feverishly in my studio.
Wow.
So we like, and then we put it out there. We got a publisher, and so now we just go to cons and we support that book. And then when I have free time, I continue the story, and I'm adding more chapters to that comic book series.
Cool.
That's amazing. What's it called?
It's called Our War, like collectively Our War, and it's
right.
Actually has a lot of parallels to Handmaid's Tale. This was written way back in like the early 2010s. So it's just a coincidence.
Awesome.
I do a comic book about like revolutions and like anarchy in the streets and the chaos. And then I pivot to the show that is about, similar themes. It's very convenient for me. So
you're the expert now on that.
And then I have like a bunch of other books I'm writing and I'm going to put out there like down the road. So yeah, we do the conventions, and we sell the books, and we have a lot of fun. We just get to meet fellow comic book nerds, and it's great.
Are there any like weird people like throwing like flowers at you and shit like that? When I think of like Comic Con, sometimes I think of like, random people like just being in love with you and like standing in line and being like, oh my God, Savvy.
Well, I wish if I had like lineups of people wanting, like, they wear those fur costumes and like, that would like make my day. That'd be
When you're talking about costumes, have you ever been to Dragon Con in Atlanta? Do you know of this?
I have not.
Violet asked everybody this, and she hasn't gotten a yes yet. I'm gonna go for you.
I love Dragon Con. It's so cool. It's like a fantasy sci-fi convention that also has like tons of cosplaying, and there's comics and stuff there too. So, but yeah, when you said costumes, it's like, I think it's one of the biggest for cosplay. So you just kind of walk around the street and like every second person is wearing like an elaborate costume. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. My brother lives for Comic-Con in San Diego. He lives in San Diego, and it's the highlight of his year every year. But I cannot get him to dress up, and it really annoys me. Any chance to dress up, I think you should.
I love San Diego, by the way. That's a great city too. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
I'm biased. I was born there. I don't live there now, but I should, because it is the best city.
Do you sell prints and stuff at Comic Con that people can buy?
Yeah, I used to. You know what? I probably should start doing that again. I mean, I used to have this huge pile of prints. It's like all nerd fan art, Batman prints that I would draw, and then like I had like a whole bunch of different characters, like pop culture characters, and like it's just a good way to make some extra money to cover your costs. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I do. I did that in the past, and lately I haven't been bringing the prints. So yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. Maybe I'll start doing that.
There you go.
Yeah,
I'm giving you an idea.
Handmaid's Tale prints, right? Like Eugene Osborne holding like a machine gun.
We're all getting our wallets out, so we're ready.
Yeah, we totally buy one.
Absolutely.
Can you sell handmade ones?
I was just gonna ask. Yeah, like legally, can you? Right?
Yeah.
I believe I can. There are like certain fair use copyrights, I believe. So if I were to sell a Handmaid's Tale print, I think I can get away with it. I would probably ask the people on the show.
Yeah.
Better to beg forgiveness than ask permission.
Handmaid's Tale related merch with my artwork on it.
Exactly. But I like the poster from your book. It's so cool. The poster behind you.
Oh, that's from my book. Yeah.
I love that. I've seen other storyboards for other shows, and yours are like so far superior.
Yeah, yours are amazing.
I really appreciate that. I put a lot of effort into them,
Yeah.
I mean, like when I started the show, I was strictly working with the directors, like Mike Barker and Colin Watkinson. Those are my like two. I would work with them all the time. Like we're like still friends.
The legends.
Yeah, they're the goats. They're my friends.
Oh,
like I've worked on, Luckiest Girl Alive. They brought me on for that.
Luckiest Girl Alive, right? Yeah.
And I worked on Mike's show that he shot in Israel called Hit and Run for Netflix.
Oh yeah, cool.
So he brought me on for that show as well. Zoe White was the DP.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's awesome. And she wanted me on another one of her shows as well. Yeah, pretty much everyone on the show, every director or DP, I've worked with them on other shows they've done.
Well, that's a good compliment. So.
Yeah, that's huge.
On Shining Girls with Lizzie.
Yeah.
She brought me on for Shining Girls. I worked with Dana Reed like twice. I worked with her on Shining Girls 2. I worked out with her on Run, Rabbit Run.
Oh yeah, with Sarah Snook, right?
Movie that she filmed in Australia.
That's awesome.
I think an editor from Handmaid's Tale or some of the other crew maybe worked on Crimes of the Future with you. Is that right?
You know what? That actually would make sense. Wendy is the editor that I know from Handmaid's Tale. She's the lead editor.
Yeah, we love her.
Wendy.
So I know Wendy. She's phenomenal. And but yeah, they called me Carol Spear. She actually emailed me personally. And I was like, is this like a fake email? Is this like a catfish or something? I'm like, because she's like, you know, all the way back to like Videodrome and like Scanners. She's been David Cronenberg's production designer. So getting just a random email from her.
That's so really cool. That movie was crazy. I just watched it for the first time like 2 days ago. Coincidentally, didn't realize that you'd worked on it, and then saw you worked on it. And I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
The designs were like so wild. Did you actually come up with some of that like yourself? You came up with the concepts, right?
Yeah, actually I designed the sets with Carol.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know, I kind of do a lot of, I'm kind of like a generalist, or like, I'm almost like an anarchist. Like one project I'm storyboarding, the next project I'm doing like set design, paintings and stuff. And then another project I'm doing something completely different. Like I don't like to be pigeonholed. Like I have a lot of different nerdy interests in film. And I've been very lucky. Like I've gone to kind of pursue a wide range of roles, I guess you could say. But for Crimes of the Future, I was designing like, you know, his room with like his bed,
the alien looking bed. Yeah
I sat there for like 3 weeks doing like 20 different paintings of that room. And it was evolving. We were changing things, adding windows, adding like ventilation and like pipes and like different textures in the walls. And then I also worked on the theater performance room. There's like broken TVs in the background where he's doing his live
surgeries. Yeah.
Live surgeries. Yeah. So I worked on that, many permutations of that set as well. And those were like major set pieces of the movie. And I'm very proud to have.
That's awesome.
I did a couple other things as well. And
that's great.
Carol was a dream to work for.
Congrats on the award too. We saw you won. Was it a Directors Guild? Was that for the crew that worked on that, or?
It's the DGC winner of the year for best directorial effort, which goes to Cronenberg, right? David Cronenberg. But then they gave me an award, so I guess maybe I'm just included because I was considered. I had major contribution to the picture,
right?
Yeah.
So they kind of lumped me in with that. I don't really know how it works, but like I'll take the award. Like why not? It's awesome. Right? And it's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's at Cannes Film Festival. It opened the festival, so you know.
Amazing.
I mean, designing those sets, honestly, it is kind of like a character in the movie, you know. So you're kind of directing. You're directing the way that it's going to play. So yeah.
Absolutely. And like the lighting as well.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah. It was a great experience. I'll just put it that way.
I was very curious. Do you draw on a computer?
I do a bit of both. When I'm working on The Handmaid's Tale, I typically draw everything on a computer, but I'll do a first pass and it'll be on paper, little tiny thumbnail drawings on pencil. And then I'll like go over with ink, and then I'll show it to like say back in the day, I used to do this a lot with Barker, and I would show him and Colin, and then they'd be like, that's rubbish. That's amazing. Keep that. And like, you know, and then what I'll do is I'll take the thumbnail little drawings, I'll scan them, and then I'll just redraw them in Photoshop, like, you know, and I'll make them like hyper detailed. That's kind of my process. It's very simple, you know, and I just draw them in Photoshop. But like the difference between me like on this show and other shows is like I put a lot of detail into the boards, like probably far more than necessary.
Yeah.
Each storyboard is almost like a concept art piece in itself. It's like a keyframe, right? Like I'll add like all the lighting effects. You know, in the early days, I didn't have any contact with the art department. It was just me and the directors or the DPs, right? We'd always sit in a room and we would work together. And I didn't have any references from the art department, so I would have to make up everything. If there's Gilead Humvee in the background with a machine gun, I would find my own references and I would design it, right? And if there's an architectural thing in the background, I design it.
Wow.
And then some of that actually started bleeding into the art department, where they would look at the boards, so they would kind of inform their designs sometimes.
Right.
It's like season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So I did have like a pretty big impact
on creating the world. That's amazing.
Yeah. And like, you know, I've always been that way. Like I just kind of like to push it as, you know, I get like tunnel vision and obsessive, and I just try to make each board look, you know, I want it to look like you're looking at a film strip.
Yeah.
You're holding it up to a light source. You're literally watching the movie, because that's what storyboarding really is. It's the first look at the movie or the show.
Yeah.
It's a very important step in the process of making something, because you know how many lights you're going to need, you know how many extras, the VFX. You know, there's so much logistical planning that has to be done, and storyboards are like a massive help for that.
Right. So do you get the script and then draw like how you envision it and then show the director and then you guys work together, or how does that kick off sort of?
On other shows, yes. I actually pitch a lot. They give me a lot of free reign to come up with things like sequences or like, what I would do personally. Like they're like, yeah, go nuts. On Handmaid's Tale, it's a little bit, I'm much more of like a tool. They kind of dictate what they want, and then I will draw it. I'll send them the first pass, and then we'll continue to go back and forth and tweak things.
Right.
But it's almost like an auteur show where each director they bring in because they have like a very high visual acuity, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they do.
Like they understand visual storytelling and framing.
Right.
So each director they bring in, they usually come from the indie world. They've done their own indie films, so they kind of know what they want, and that saves a lot of time. So I really just kind of draw what they tell me to draw. I will add in my own flourishes here and there, and that's usually how it works.
Cool.
But on like other things, I've had directors, they've given me like 30 pages, and they're just like, go nuts, like just come up with a cool action sequence, and then I'll do that. And then sometimes they'll shoot it 1-to-1, and I'm like, holy shit, like
that's awesome.
This is exactly how I drew it, and they shot it, and it's been edited to the timing that I had in my head. Oh my god!
Wow.
I think it'd be hard to, they bring in new directors so much. I would think that you would have to adjust your working style with new directors, but I'm sure everyone's cool. It just seems very challenging.
It can be challenging, but I don't know. I get along with like literally everyone on the show. Like I have great rapport, great relationships with everybody. Yeah, but especially the directors.
Yeah, that's the thing about this show. Everybody's amazing, like literally. So they did good hiring.
Oh yeah,
everybody has that same comment that we speak to about how good the relationships are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to the question about you drawing on the computer, do you draw with like those cute little pen things, or do you use a mouse?
Yeah, like this
stylus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any scenes that you've done like really elaborate storyboards, or like you feel like, oh, I did really great on that, and then they didn't end up filming the scene? Or are you usually getting it at the point where it's pretty locked in?
That's a good question. I mean, there have been scenes that were cut. Mostly it's like something will come up regarding the budget, or like, we'll design a huge sequence, and it's like it's just not realistic for the budget or the time.
Yeah.
So we'll have to scale things down. That happens a lot. I mean, like that happens in every TV show, right?
Yeah. I think we heard from Eva Vivas, the director for 505 and 506 last season, that maybe there was supposed to be a downed helicopter in No Man's Land, and it would have been cool, but it was prohibitively expensive, which makes sense. It sounds very expensive.
Oh, I did this like crazy animation, and it was like of this like crashed helicopter in No Man's Land. They drive past it, and I spent like probably like a day and a half on it, and it was like animated. Like I did like rain effects, and like they're driving, and it's like Luke, Moira, and
cool.
It looked really cool. It was like something for maybe later I can, or maybe Handmaids themselves can post it in the official account or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're always trying different things. We're throwing things at the wall. Like Chicago, for instance, in season 4, like I had done these like crazy concept paintings of like destroyed cities, right? It was like Last of Us meets like Terminator 2 Judgment Day, just like epic. June walking around like a tiny little figure, and there's like moss everywhere, no pun intended, and like overgrowth, and like burning barrels, and flipped over police cars, and like shattered buildings. Like it looked insane. But I remember we had a meeting once, and we were like reviewing this stuff, and like one of the set deck lead, he just looks at this, he's like, well, like what the fuck? He's like, this is absolutely like insane. Like, he liked the artwork, but the logistics of pulling something like that off, even with VFX, would be impossible, right? And it was kind of disappointing, because it's like if that would have taken the show to like a whole new level. I still think they absolutely nailed it. Like the Chicago episodes were fantastic.
It's too bad they can't just like cut to animations and just show your, like just in the middle of the show, be like, this is what we wish we could have done. Here's an animated sequence by our artist. Drop
a little green screen June.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this was like $200 million budget looking environments. It was a little way too ambitious.
No reason not to be ambitious. I'm glad you tried.
Do you do a lot of the animated drawings then, as well as the stills, or?
I mean, like I'm just a weirdo. Like I'll be real with you. Like I'll do like a concept painting that I'm really proud of, and like I like the mood and vibe of it, and then I want to like sell it, like I really sell it. So I'll start animating on, like I'll take the flat image that I've drawn, I'll put it into like After Effects, which is like a program for animating.
Yeah.
And I'll start adding rain effects, and then I'll start adding like little transitions. I'm like, well, there needs to be a shot before that, of course, and then there needs to be a shot after that. So then I'll just start adding things like on my own time. All of the time I'll do this like on lunch or after work.
It's for fun.
Trying to upsell them also.
Just because I'm a nerd and I love
Yeah.
And like I'm a director also. Like I've directed animation before, and I've
Awesome.
I actually directed 2 animated like feature-length films way back for Amazon Studios. It was this crazy contest.
Oh, nice.
I like to tinker with stuff. I like to be a nerd, and I like to like just sell the vibe, any way I can.
Yeah.
It's great that you enjoy it that much.
We're big fans of nerds here, so
I fit right in with you guys.
there you go.
Perfect.
Yay.
That's the great thing about the show. Like, Fred's casket in the funeral sequence is draped with that like blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's like a coat of arms for the Waterford family, or whatever. So
Yeah.
I got to design that. That's a prop.
That's amazing. That was so cool.
Yeah.
I painted it, and it was all like velvety. And then I gave it to Liam, who is our graphics. He's one of our graphics guys, and I share my office with him. And then he like turns it into a vector. They send it off, and then it came back printed, and it was like this gigantic canvas, and it was like on crushed velvet.
Yeah.
And it had like metal embroidery. It was nuts.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I remember Mary on Instagram, Mary Proppin.
I do like her name.
Yes, Mary.
She posted the
She was like oversaw it.
yeah, it looked awesome. Yeah.
It turned out beautifully. It looked great on camera.
Yeah.
I bet she loves you. I feel like you do some work of other people just because you like it. Like, you're like, oh, cool. He did this for us already.
That's what I'm getting at. Like what I do,
Yeah.
it bleeds into other areas. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of an anarchist. Like I said, like I started there with no contact with the art department. So I would just overstep my bounds.
Yeah.
And then eventually I get absorbed into the art department full time. And then I'm still doing shit like that.
Might as well move him in here.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I want to do that. Like I just because I want to. Like I think it'd be cool to just do a graphic today. Can I just design a graphic or something? And sometimes they'll let me, and I just do general shit, But like, I'm always worried, like, am I stepping on toes here? Because like, I know, like, once again, film, you stay in your lane.
Yeah.
You keep your head down, and I'm just like flailing all over the place. Can I draw that, or I'm going to animate something? Would you like to see? Like, I'm just really, I don't know.
I mean, it sounds way more fun.
I got a lot of manic energy, I'm sitting there. Yeah.
When did you enter the art department? You said you were in your own office before.
That was season 4.
Oh, not till 4. Okay.
When I became like full-time embedded. Yeah. But before that, I was always freelance. So I'd be like 2 weeks on, 1 week off, 2 weeks on, 1 week off.
Gotcha.
Only with the directors, only with the cinematographer, producer, blah, blah. Yeah.
If I were making a show, I would want you on it. So
Yeah.
that, like, sounds amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'm getting some like crazy offers lately for like some crazy projects.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Please tell us. We're very nosy.
He's not going to tell you.
I can say that on the horizon, there's one film that's going to be coming in a few years.
Mm.
I can't give you any details, but it's going to be like 2 talents that you would never expect. They're gonna, like, it's 2 worlds colliding.
Ooh, that's exciting.
You would never expect it, but now that you see them working together, or like you can conceptualize them working together, it makes like perfect sense.
So much
It's
sense.
absolutely gonna be like fucking gangbusters. Like, I like old timey terms,
Yeah.
so I'll say like gangbusters. Like, it's gangbusters. But the meeting of these 2 talents, the convergence is absolutely incredible. It's like the film gods have like shone
Oh.
their sunlight on us. Like, I'm so starved for good cinema. And this movie
Yeah.
that's coming down the pipe, I may be involved, maybe. I can't give you any information other than that, but it's going to be like phenomenal.
That's very exciting.
If you're like
though.
a cinema fan, like love cinema.
I'm gonna spend the next 2 years like
Yes.
trying to figure
Not
out
gonna
what
let it
this
go.
is.
Looking at every movie, trying to see, is that the 2? Is it?
I'm
Yeah.
a little bit annoyed because she will never stop now that you've said this. She's going to be talking to me about like all day long, every day. Like, I think I know. I think I know what it is. No, I'm just kidding. I'm very excited. It sounds really fun.
Yeah, if you even have it like a little bit of a hint about what it is, like, then you know what I'm talking about. It's like
we're on a game show that's going to last 2 years, and you're going to have to tell us the answer
yes.
when it comes out.
You were incorrect.
Now, this is exciting though, because the show's going to end sometime soon, and there is something exciting coming later. So
Yay.
Like,
That's
even if I
exciting.
wasn't involved in this, as a film fan, like as a cinema lover, it would be my most anticipated film just because of the people involved.
Wow.
and it's the potential of what they could create. That's all I can't say anything more.
My brain might explode. I'm very excited. Now I'm feeling like Kimberly.
Yeah. Interesting. I wanted to know if you have a very favorite storyboard that you've made for Handmaids, or any that really stand out to be your favorites.
Ooh, that is a good question.
Thank you.
I don't know how much you guys know about my role on the show, but you've seen my posts on Instagram. These are just tiny little snippets.
Yeah.
They're like 1/10 of a percentage of like the boards that I've done for the show. I've probably drawn like 20,000 boards at this point.
Whoa.
It's so hard because I've worked on like literally any sequence that's like a major sequence that's shot on location. If it has a VFX, if it has a June running down the street, or anything. Like I've worked on like pretty much everything. Every episode I've worked on something.
We need a book. We need a book of this.
Yes, we do need a book. But it blows my mind that one person could even do every episode in a season. I would think it would be like directing, where you do it in blocks, because it must be so time consuming. It's incredible. What a cool job.
I worked really fast too. Like I'm not trying to like toot my own horn here, but like I'm pretty.
Toot it.
I'm known as being very fast for the quality of the output that I do.
How long does it take you to do like a scene?
It really depends.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the content of the scene, right?
Yeah. One day, sometimes it's 3 days.
Oh, that's fast though.
That's incredible.
The most I think it took was like, I think 5 days for one scene. And that was like, I think the Washington Monument took that much.
Oh yeah.
I sat there with
Wow.
like Stuart Biddlecombe, and that was like Stuart Biddlecombe's first day on the job.
Wow.
Just having
Jesus.
to plan out the Washington Monument.
Washington? That is wild.
You're basically like a pre-editor, You're like editing before anything exists.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's so
I
interesting.
sat with him and the director, Dervah Walsh and Stuart Biddlecombe. I'm sitting with them. It's like the first day on the job that they had just arrived. And so then we had to plan out this entire sequence. I'm sitting with them, and like I did like crazy boards for it. And then they pass that along to the production, and then everyone gets to take a look. And then they go and they make, they start designing stuff, and they start, doing previs, because they had to do like digi doubles of the crowds. But yeah, like that's where it started. Like it was us drawing this crazy ass, like it was like a Nuremberg rally. It was very like World War II, like Germany, or like say the Soviet Union, like a giant military parade kind of vibe. Like it was very crazy to work on that.
It's unforgettable.
Yeah.
That episode.
I mean, that was cool.
It's crazy that you drew it first.
There's so many scenes though. I mean, like I liked working on anything with Barker. Was always a lot of fun, just because our rapport, hanging out. Like we wouldn't even work in the office. Most of the time it'd be me, Mike Barker, and Colin Watkinson at Mike's house.
Oh,
that's
On Sunday morning, I would come over, he'd make us breakfast, and then by like 11 a.m. he would like, it's drinking time. We'd start having beer. We'd be storyboarding while having beers, and like just sitting around. Like we'd always be like talking about film and shooting the shit.
That's cute.
It's just like joking around. Like they're amazing. And then about like 9 p.m. then like I'd call an Uber home, because like I would just Uber. I knew like if I'm gonna go there, we're gonna be having afternoon beers.
I know what's happening here. Yeah.
I mean, like I'll be more recent. Like season 4, where Fred is in the woods with Nick and June.
Yeah.
And like that turned out beautifully. It was Liz Garbus who directed that.
Yeah. That is a favorite of ours.
It's beautifully shot.
Yeah, like Nick and June start making out, and he just looks at them and he's just like, "What the fuck? That's fucking sick." And I'm watching this and I started crying with laughter. Like that reaction was so funny to me. Like,
yeah, it's so good.
That's like my favorite moment of the show. His delivery,
It was
so good.
Oh my god.
Did you draw the kiss? Because I thought that was a like day of improv. No, you drew it?
Oh, it's in there.
Good for you.
There's like an ultra close up, like macro lens in their mouth.
Yeah, as we saw it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's all there.
So you drew it first. Thank you, sir.
Even his reaction, he's just like this.
I know his face.
Yes.
We give you credit. That was an amazing moment in television history.
And I'm not taking credit. It's always the director who gets the credit.
I mean, my wallet is out for these storyboards right now.
I want the storyboards.
Yeah.
I imagine you have some of the colonies, but we've just been rewatching like those episodes, and like those would be so amazing, I reckon.
I have the colonies. I have everything.
I think there's some on his Insta that I looked at, maybe.
Okay, so let's get back to my favorite stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm still waiting.
If you want to hear my opinion on my own shit, you know?
Yes.
Like, okay, there's the scene with like June getting hit by the red pickup truck in like season 5. Like I worked on that sequence, and like I love the way those boards turned out. When the guy tries to run her over, right?
Yeah.
There's the whole Dundas Square and the funeral.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
We call those the super boards.
Mhm.
So I'm working with Lizzie and Nicola. We're having these huge sessions for like hours and hours. And I have to say something about Lizzie. She is like going to be she's going to be an incredible like director. Like I think down the road, she's going to be like winning awards. She's a phenom. Like she's one of the most like coolest people you'll ever meet. She's so like her clarity of vision and her notes and everything, like as a director, unbelievable. I think she's probably the best director that's ever been on the show.
That's amazing. What a high compliment for an actor, right?
She's new at directing.
Yeah.
I've worked with like hundreds of directors. Like she's phenomenal. And I'm not just kissing ass because she's my boss. Like she genuinely is like some people just have it. And when she comes to a meeting, she has all this energy, but she's so well prepared.
Fully prepared.
And if like I'll email her the next day, I'm like, oh, I have a question about this sequence or this shot, she'll immediately respond, and they'll be like perfect notes, like not too many words, not too few. She just knows exactly how to articulate her thoughts. Like phenomenal.
That's incredible.
She's like, it's such a joy to work with Lizzie, and I just had to.
I wonder how many she'll direct this season.
She'd probably direct all of them if she could, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it's impossible, like physically, or she would probably.
Yeah. One of my favorites is definitely, the funeral. Like, the way you drew Serena and in her coat. Like, I remember seeing that on Instagram. I was like blown away. I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
Just excuse my French, but
they look so good.
I mean, when you're working with Lizzie, she brings out the best in everyone. Like I said, so like, she tasked me with doing like the funeral, and we're just hanging out. We're like joking around and having fun. And like, I just want to give her like the best boards ever.
She inspires. Yeah.
It's a huge sequence.
Yeah.
And she hadn't dealt with like a big, production like that at this point. Like tons of extras. Like there's so much logistics once again involved. You have all these cranes shots and drone shots. So like I wanted to make it as like, precise to her vision as possible.
Mm-hmm.
All credits to Lizzie for that. That's me and her mind meld. We just sit there and like we get it done, I don't know.
I love how you have the red as the only color. That's really cool.
I do too. Yeah. They're all so good. Although I do fault you for killing Beth and Sienna.
Oh, the rooftop?
Oh, no.
You should have refused to draw that one.
Okay, but the rain on the roof?
It's so beautiful.
How do you draw rain like that? It just looks so real.
That's like a secret. That's like a trade secret. I can't share. I'm sorry.
He's like a magician.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Did you animate this one too with the rain effect?
I did not. But you know what? Maybe I will, just because I'm bored. It'd be kind of cool.
Yay.
So it's a good time for us to just make requests, is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're working on Star Trek right now, right? Or have you not started yet?
That is correct. I've been on Star Trek for a few weeks. Star Trek Strange New Worlds season 3. So
awesome.
This is kind of my home away from Handmaids. It's kind of the flip side. We got the dystopia with Handmaids, and then we go on to Star Trek, which is a utopia.
Is it shot in Toronto or?
It is shot in Toronto, yes. But we actually may be getting shut down because of the WGA strike. It's very uncertain.
If it
can be averted, then we're going to be going throughout the summer. It's going to be fantastic. And if there's a strike, then who knows what's going to happen. But so far, so good. Star Trek Strange New Worlds is like a great show. I couldn't be happier to be working on that right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you a Star Trek nerd?
Of course. I mean, look at my office here. I mean, oh God. I don't have any, overtly Star Trekian artwork on the walls, but yeah, I'm a massive Star Trek fan since I was a kid.
You can tell.
Can I ask you, what's your favorite movie?
One of them is The Dark Knight.
Good pick.
Very sad. I don't think I can watch Dark Knight anymore after Heath Ledger. Can you?
Oh, it's really sad. Yeah. I was actually one of the first people to see it because Heath Ledger's from where I'm from in Perth, and they screened it early for us.
Oh, cool.
I thought you were sleeping with him or something more interesting.
Oh, no, that would have been more interesting. Thanks. No.
Can I say a controversial opinion?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
The Dark Knight Rises is better than The Dark Knight, and it's the best Batman movie ever made.
Oh,
That's
yeah, I do
controversial.
like it. I do like it, but I won't say I don't think it's better, but I do really like them. Actually, I like all three of those movies with Christian Bale. I love Christian Bale, so like
He's the best.
he's definitely the best Batman, I think, in my opinion.
Agree.
I would agree with that.
I think Affleck's so underrated.
Really?
He would appreciate you saying that.
I think he had the look of Batman.
Isn't he like reprising his?
I think
Is he?
so.
It's like in there's some other movie coming out that has like
The Flash.
multiverse stuff. Yeah. And there's like several Batmans coming in.
That's true. Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I almost worked on that too. I was
Yeah?
supposed to be on that
Oh.
movie. Yeah. Because it's directed by Andy Muschietti and produced by Sister Barbara. And I'd worked with them on the It movies. So originally they were going to bring me on, but they ended up shooting in the UK, and there's different rules in the UK, like union rules.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I unfortunately couldn't work on it, but that would have been cool. That would have been a cool experience to work on a superhero movie.
While we're talking about it briefly, did you work with Stephen King?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
He was involved remotely. He came to set on It Chapter 2, but I didn't get to meet him. I think it was already wrapped out by then. They were well into shooting.
Yeah.
I never got to meet him, unfortunately. That would have been very cool.
Stephen King gave the shout out to Shining Girls, right?
He did.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
He did. He also commented on Your Honor.
Yeah.
He's a fan of The Handmaid's Tale, I believe, too. Within the industry, like, there are a lot of fans of The Handmaid's Tale. Like, I think the Cronenberg is a huge fan. I'm pretty sure Stephen King is a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people I know that when they find out, like people I wouldn't expect, and then when they find out I worked on the show, they're like, "I'm a huge fan of that show," and I was like,
Oh,
Mhm.
that's
I didn't even know
awesome.
you watched it. Like that's crazy
Yeah.
to me. Like there's a lot of Hollywood industry. Like I mean, it's not a coincidence that after The Handmaid's Tale came out, you were seeing a lot of other streaming shows come out after that did have a similar look. Like mostly cinematography wise,
Uh-huh.
they were kind of borrowing a little bit from The Handmaid's Tale. I wouldn't say borrowing, maybe just inspired.
Yeah. So good. So
But
good.
Handmaid's Tale is in the zeitgeist. It has been for a long time.
Right.
A cultural phenom.
Yes,
Indeed.
definitely.
Totally.
Yeah, I told you guys I would go on tangents.
Oh, we like it. We can talk to you forever.
Yeah.
We love tangents.
Yeah, you guys are super chill. This is awesome. I'm having a great time.
Oh, good.
You.
I'm a little like lost in these storyboards still. I'm sorry. I keep like reopening them and being like, ah,
I know.
this is what I'm gonna do with my day is just stare at these. They're so good.
There are literally thousands more, and they'll never see the light of day. They're all going to be like burned after season 6.
No,
Put
no.
a book out.
Seriously.
What? Did you say a book?
A book.
Make more money. People will pay.
Yes, book.
What? Can't hear you. A book?
A book, please.
A
That
book.
would be incredible.
I mean, we would spend so much money on that.
How about like a coffee table book? You know,
Yes.
prestige format.
That's what we mean. Yeah.
One for like each season, and they're like wide books. Yes.
That would be
Yeah.
killer.
Oh yeah, one for each season.
Never
Yeah,
say never. That's
definitely.
what I will say. Never say never.
Never say never.
Why not? It's just more
It's
money.
all sitting there, right? All this material is just sitting there. Why not?
Right.
You know,
It'd be a shame to never see the light of day.
the fans would love it. Film aficionados would love it.
And they did that book, The Art and the Making of the Handmaid's Tale. Like, I bought it. I would 100%
Yeah.
buy a storyboard
Mhm.
book. Like, no doubt. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, there's some of my storyboards are in that book, but they forgot to credit me. I was like a little insulted. I'm like,
Oh.
but,
That's so rude.
Time to make up for that then.
I'll just say that me and Lizzie over the years we've I've worked on a couple of projects with her, and
Yeah.
maybe I did mock up something and maybe I did send it to her. Maybe she was very receptive of it. I'll just say that Lizzie is the coolest. That's all I'm gonna say.
Awesome.
I mean, like one of the pitches, like this is a hypothetical in an alternate universe.
Right.
And this like crazy alternate universe, she writes the foreword and like an introduction, and she'll do some commentary throughout this hypothetical book that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And then I would pepper in some commentary. It would be a retelling of the entire show with storyboards, and it would be just like, the important moments chronologically. It would read like, like a Parisian graphic novel, like, minimal, there's no dialogue. It's just all, graphic images.
Oh,
And then you would
yeah.
have all of the directors come in, and they would all write like, little blurbs and anecdotes about their sequence or about the show, about its impact on their career or what the show meant to them. Like you'd have Mike Barker, Kerry Scoglin would come back, and Floria Sigismondi.
Yeah.
Can you give us your PayPal? Like, how do we get this?
Yeah.
Venmo, like I'm
Yeah.
This is like a parallel universe. Okay. Doctor Strange appeared in my office here, and he's like, "Oh, in the parallel universe, you had a really sick book, and everyone loved it." But our universe, I don't know, because I don't know if you guys are paying attention. We live in a kind of a hellish shit universe lately, so who knows?
It's too good for this universe. So we're all ready to pay in that hypothetical universe.
We've already sent you the money in the hypothetical universe.
$49.95 at Barnes and Noble. You know.
Yes.
Sold. That's way less than I was ready to pay for that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right before some holidays, I think that's a very good idea.
Make sure it's available down under, because that's not fair.
I'll send it to you, Kimberly. It'll take like months, but I'll get it to you.
In that like alternate universe, actually, we went down to Sydney and we were doing a signing there, and there was a huge lineup of people, and we were doing signings. It was a great time.
And I get a free book, right, with your signature.
100%, and with a sketch in it too, personalized sketch.
Whoa, that's not fair. Now you got to do it for everybody.
Right.
That's what you could do at Comic-Con. You could have the books, sell the books, and then do a sketch, and pay like an extra $50 to have like a sketch in the front.
Yeah,
more than that.
Do you want to be my agent? Because I need an agent. I have an opening here.
I feel like we would be good agents.
If I can go to Comic-Con with you, sold. Yeah, right.
Okay, so sorry, Tina. Sorry, we got off on a tangent there.
Hi, thank you for joining us. So my question is, do you only do storyboards for specific scenes? Like do you do them for the whole episode or just specific scenes in an episode? And what would make a scene particularly worthy of having a storyboard created for it?
I do work on only specific scenes, and what makes a scene worthy of needing storyboards generally boils down to, is it a VFX shot? Is it going to be shot outdoors, like on location? Will it be, will there be a stunt involved? Or sometimes is it going to be like just difficult with like a lot of actors? Like it could be a blocking issue where you have a lot of people to manage, and you're going to have like limited time, and you need to plan out every shot, very precisely. And once again, it's all about the budget. It's about communicating the director's idea to the crew, the department heads, so that everyone's on the same page. It's a visual script, essentially. It's your first look at the show, and it's the pitch on what the director wants to do. So if you want to have a car chase, you storyboard it, because you have to have cars, you have to have cameras, you have to have drones following them, and camera cars with like cranes mounted to them, like crazy. It's all expensive. If you show up on set and you don't have a plan, and you have all of these people standing around and lighting, and there's hundreds of people on set, you have to have a plan. You have to know exactly what you want to get. And that's what the storyboard, that's where they come in. That's why they're so valuable.
Yeah.
Now I do add an extra layer of detail and rendering, because I'm a neurotic OCD person, and I want to make them look like insanely good as best to my ability. So what that does, that can be like confidence building as well. Maybe the director comes on the show and they are intimidated. They don't have a lot of experience, or they're just like, like it's a new show, a new crew. They don't know anybody. And I try to the first sequence, I try to make it look really cool and really sell their idea. And then that usually it helps build confidence as well. So that's really the role that the storyboards serve. It's just to get everybody on the same page. No pun intended.
You never use that, right?
Yeah.
What has been the most difficult scene for you to create a storyboard for? Do you have one in mind in particular that was exceptionally hard to just get done or get your vision across?
Definitely the early stuff, like seasons 1 and 2, because working with Mike Barker and Colin, they are my friends in real life, like outside of work. Like I love them. We still keep in contact. I still work on their projects. So I'm not talking shit, but God damn it, they plan some crazy, intricate camera moves. And it's like 4-dimensional shit they're planning, like very it's like beyond Kubrickian. I don't even know how to describe it. And like weird parallaxing camera moves and like wrapping around, and like it's just insane levels of choreography that they have in their heads. And then Mike will give me his notes, and sometimes it's just verbal. He's just describing it to me, and I'm trying to sketch it, and it's a quick turnaround. And those were always very exciting times, but also stressful, and like a lot of late nights to figure it out, because like he's a mad genius, Mike Barker, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I would hand him the boards in, and he's like, fucking nailed it, or like fix that, blah blah blah. And then I would just rush to redraw whatever it could be, like whatever crazy handheld Steadicam oneer he had planned. So those were always the most difficult, just because of his vision he has. This was so awesome and interesting and abstract. If it's anything like, explosions or fight sequences, guns, like that's easy. That shit's easy. It's just like it's making like the more artistic, pushing the boundaries of cinema. Like those are the ones that are more challenging.
Gotcha.
There's no frame of reference for a lot of the shots that Mike and Colin were coming up with. Like I couldn't look at like Ida, or I couldn't look at like I don't know, some 70s like art house film, Jean Godard, whatever, Kurosawa. There's no frame of reference for me. He's making it up. It's like brand new.
Yeah.
Maybe never before seen in cinema. So those are always challenging, and I have to use my imagination. And it's like, don't make me use my imagination. Just let me draw. let me reference something.
Right. Well, thank you very much. That was awesome. You're great. This has been fun. It's been amazing to listen to.
Thank you.
So interesting.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Julia, are you out there?
Hi.
Hey, nice to meet you.
I'm super excited about you and your interview because I draw a lot and I designed our logos and headers.
Is that on a cup?
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. You have great line work. That is amazing.
I kind of realized, because this is the reason I came into the fandom, that there's not a lot of fan art kind for Handmaid's Tale. I don't know if you're interested in something like this, or if you kind of look that up.
Always. Actually, in season 2, in the break room, our refrigerator was covered in fan art that had been sent in.
Oh, that's cool.
It was like completely covered, like thousands of pieces all over the office. It was amazing.
That's nice.
That's really cool.
Do you have an Instagram?
I do.
Please add me, and I will follow you back. I could plug my Instagram. It's the @ symbol, and then it's my last name, which is Derrah, Derrah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like Daredevil or Derriere.
What do you go by Derrah in real life, or you go by Michael?
I go by Derrah, and that's because like I have a huge ego. It's like, Madonna has a one-word name.
Yeah, no, we can tell.
No. When I was growing up, I had like 8 friends named Michael. And we all just went by our last name. It's just like, Michael. And they have like 4 heads turning around with who are you talking to? Michael is such a common name. And I love the name. I'm not ashamed of my name. But so I got so used to being called that. And I would introduce myself as that. Even my teachers at school would call me Derrah.
I like the name Derrah. I like it.
And Derrah's late for class again. And it just stuck. And it became like in a way, like my brand. Like it's just like, I don't know. What am I going to name my handle? Like, wizart.com. Like, I don't like it's just my name. Like, whatever.
Derrah is perfect.
Crazyboards.com.
What is your dream like? What would you really love to draw?
My dream is to storyboard my own live action film. Like I would just draw it, like Ridley Scott, he storyboarded Alien, right? If you Google Alien storyboards, Ridley Scott, that's my dream. I've always wanted to direct, and I have like directed stuff, but I'm not like in the way I want to direct it. Like I want to do like a film, like a real film. So that's my dream, to storyboard my own film. But if I don't do that, my dream project would be to storyboard that secret movie on the horizon that I mentioned earlier.
Sounds promising.
That's going to be a dream project if it happens. And then that's a really good question, to be honest. I mean, I don't know, because like some of my favorite films, I don't even think were storyboarded. They were all like the director just showed up. And like he or she, they just kind of like looked at the world around them, and they just kind of captured it in the moment. Yeah. Very ad hoc.
What are some of your favorites? Some of your favorite films?
Yeah, you asked Kimberly. You gotta answer now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the 70s stuff, like De Palma for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to sound like hacky and like cliche, but like, Kubrick. Like, of course, everybody loves Kubrick. He's like absolute genius, like IQ of like 190 or something. I mean, I like movies from like the 60s, like the late 60s. I like a lot of old stuff, and I like a lot of art house cinema. I like all the cliches that art house nerds will say, like Criterion Collection people. I love all of that shit. It's very informative to me.
Oh, the Criterion Collection subscription is beautiful.
Yeah.
We have the like online subscription thing.
It's impeccable.
Yeah, it's great.
But what's like in my heart, like what really got me to like pursue it was like, definitely 80s movies like The Terminator, Aliens, RoboCop. Like RoboCop, I have like giant like shrine to RoboCop behind me. Like Paul Verhoeven is one of my favorite directors. He's the Dutch Madman film director. I love the first Lethal Weapon, like Richard Donner, or written by Shane Black.
Oh, those movies are some of my favorites. I think I love those movies.
All of them are great, but the first one is like it's just
it's
so
amazing.
fucking good. The first Die Hard, I love Die Hard with a Vengeance. Like I love that kind of shit. Like I just love it. Like I just deeply have a deep love and admiration for those movies. I think it's nostalgia, but it's also the craftsmanship. Like you look at a movie like Predator with Arnold, and like look at the cast, right? It's like Jesse the Body Ventura, Bill Duke. Like Bill Duke's a real actor; he's phenomenal. But you have like John McTiernan come in, and he takes this premise of like army guys in the jungle when there's like an alien, and he's hunting them for sport, and it's like ridiculous. It sounds like a B movie.
Yeah.
But with his craftsmanship, he elevated that movie into becoming like a masterpiece. Like it's phenomenal. Like the camera work, the way every shot is composed with like the foliage behind. Like there's no boring shots, no repetitive shots, and like it's a jungle. It's just trees in the background.
Yeah.
But every shot is like unique and original, and like he got a performance of Arnold that's like his best performance. Like he actually acts in the movie like phenomenally. He's not just a movie star. And I'm a huge Arnold fan.
I was watching something about Predator the other day, and it was saying that Van Damme was supposed to be in that movie, but he got fired.
Oh wow.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. He was going to play the Predator in a rubber like insect suit.
Yes, yeah. It looked so weird. Yeah, it looked so weird.
See, I think that's like the time period where I feel like there was still so much practical stuff in movies. Like it wasn't all CG, so it was like a good mix of like a lot of really cool props and costumes, and that's kind of like the transitional phase was like the 80s and 90s, right? So maybe that's part of why we think about that period, that time period, so fondly, because it's just a way that movies look that they don't look anymore. Yeah,
it was like, majority of what you see in the camera, like when you're looking to the viewfinder, like you're getting that on the film, right? The 35 millimeter film.
Right.
It's all in camera, and it looks so much better. The same light is hitting the Predator that's hitting Arnold, so it all matches. It feels so organic, you can't you can't replace like really good practicals with CG. I'm like one of those purists. Like I don't even like digital cameras. Like I think they're like all shit. Like they're good, but they look amazing nowadays. Like they're phenomenal, like the color correction, everything. But there's something about film that it just looks better, and I'll argue that till the end of time. It just looks better. It's like vinyl records recorded with analog, digital recording. Because like, what is it? It's a computer observing the world, and it's interpreting what it's seeing and putting it into like electronic data. But film, you're capturing the literal photons of the room on the negative. So it's literally like a hologram of like the actual environment when they were filming. It's like you're seeing it projected on a wall. It's incredible through crystals and shit. It's like magic.
I think my only argument there is like that I can make a movie now because of digital. You know what I mean? I guess there's benefits and negatives and positives to that, but that definitely like
it has democratized film for sure, 100%. Like I think they're amazing, but there's a part of me that's like, if it's not true film, like if it's not really actually shot on 35 or 60 super 16 millimeter, looks great.
Yeah, I mean, we still will like travel to theaters that project things in film, and it's definitely really cool to do that sometimes. So yeah.
You seem to have like some really good insights in those processes of how like to develop a script and stuff like this. So I was wondering if you always wanted to do the work you do now, because you just said like when you were younger you wanted to write comics and stuff like this. So how did you slip into this profession you are doing now?
Ooh, that's like a long story. It's a weird, interesting story. So like film, I kind of came into film like sideways. Like I went to school for classical Disney animation, and it was like a 4-year long program, and all my instructors were ex-Disney animators and layout artists. So I had that education. I was doing drawing every frame with pencil on a light box and flipping the pages, just like they did back in the 1930s, 1940s, 50s.
Oh, that's awesome.
With Beauty and the Beast, Snow White. Like I was learning that technique, right? And then throughout that education, I eventually transitioned to digital. Like they were updating the course as I was in the course, because I was right at the cusp of 2D animation was leaving and 3D was coming in, like Pixar. This is back in like the 2000s. So but the education was so great. Like I learned so much about filmmaking, more theory, like of character, story, structure, because animation and film are inherently the same. It's just that your tools are different, right? Like animation, you're just drawing everything. Film, you're shooting with cameras, but your scripts and your story and your character and your performance, they all have to be like incredible, right? Like that should be what is emphasized. So I graduated from school, and then I was doing some advertising, and I was doing freelance for a little while. And then I and I wanted to break into film, but I had no connections really. And I had just moved to Toronto. I was in Oakville, which is outside of Toronto. It's a small community with a school where I went to. And I was contacted by this writer, and he's like, Amazon.com, the online book retailer and retail shop, Amazon, like Jeff Bezos. He's opening like a film studio. It's called Amazon Studios. And he's like, they're having this contest where for a whole year, every single month, they're going to have a contest. You can submit your own film, and there'll be a panel of judges from Hollywood. They're going to judge the best film, and whatever film wins, you get like a cash prize, and you get like, publicity. And they get the option that Amazon will make your movie. They'll greenlight your movie if they'll have the option to.
That's awesome.
So
yeah,
a screenwriter from Toronto contacted me and he hired me. And then I ended up directing 2 feature-length storyboard films. They're animated, like fully animated. They were built using storyboards, and I edited them, and I did all the sound design and mixing. I learned all this in my animation school. Me and the writer, we directed the voice actors. He co-directed with me, but I did the majority of like the editing. I did all like the hard labor, right? He wrote the script. We took co-credit. So we did 2 of these films in a matter of months, and we both times they both won this Amazon Studios contest. And it was like we got like publicity on like Hollywood Reporter and all this shit.
That's amazing.
And I'm like living on my friend's couch at the time. Like I had been out of school, and I was like, I was just living on their couch, and I had my little setup in the corner of the office with my little drawing shit, whatever. And then I went back and then that was like really cool. Like I was like, whoa, like if I can win this contest, maybe I can make it in film. Like this is great demo reel material and like great for a resume.
Yeah.
So then I'm doing freelance stuff, and I make a LinkedIn profile page because all my friends from school were doing that. And I'm like, LinkedIn is like, that's for like financial people. That's for like techies. Like that's for white collar people.
Yeah.
I'm like an artist. Artists typically don't advertise on like LinkedIn, like as far as I was aware at the time. But I made a profile anyways that said I was a storyboard artist for film and television, blah, 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 blah. So then I just randomly get this call out of the blue, and it's a production designer from Toronto named Robin Realis. And he's like, hello. He's like, you're a storyboard artist. He's like, I need a storyboard artist. There's none in the city. Like they're all, Suicide Squad with Margot Robbie and Will Smith. It's filming.
Yeah.
And there's nobody else available because that movie sucked up all of the local talent.
Right.
It did suck.
And he's like, oh, would you be available to come in? Do you have a portfolio? And I'm like a nobody from the outside. And he just kind of took a chance, and he just basically cold called me, and I sent him my portfolio, and he looks at it and he's like, where the hell have you been? Like, this is phenomenal. You should have been in the industry for years, like just working. Like, what the hell? Like, you're amazing. He gave me some like, he had some very nice things to say, and I was very happy.
That's amazing.
Like thankful, Anyways, so I go in and I have my first meeting, and he's like, okay, we're shooting a pilot here it's for Emblem Entertainment and Fox. 20th Century Fox. And he's like, I'd like you to meet our director. And then out comes this British dude, super cool. His name's Mark Mylod. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Shameless,
Succession,
or the show Succession. Or Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
We're podcasting Succession right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's directed like most of he's an executive producer on the show.
He did Shameless? I didn't realize that. That's cool.
Yeah, he did like a ton of episodes. So I sit down with Mark and I show my portfolio, I have like a paper printed version. And then we end up immediately just start talking about movies that we like. It's just shooting a shift like 2.5 hours. And like, we just like totally hit it off, become like good friends. Like, and just in like that first day, because we're talking about like obscure movies that we like. And then he's like, I love that movie though. And then we're talking about specific scenes that like maybe you wouldn't pick up on, or you may, I don't know. We just had a great mind meld. And then, I worked on this pilot with him. This is my first job ever. And then, it worked out really well. I did all these action sequences. He was very, he's like, they turned out really well. So then he disappears. He goes back to LA or whatever. I get my second job through Robin, the production manager. And then I'm working away, blah, blah, blah. I'm working with McG. He's like the famous director. He did like Terminator Salvation. He's an awesome dude.
Nice.
And then I get this call from Mark, and he's like, "Hey, Michael." He's like, "Are you busy? I'm back in Northern Ireland. I'm back on Game of Thrones. Would you like to come work on Game of Thrones with me?"
Yeah.
It's like my third job ever. I've only been in film for like 6 months.
Oh my God, that's insane.
This is season 6, so this is when each episode, as it was being aired, was 100 million viewers.
The height of
Fucking, like, it was the talk of like the planet. Like everyone was having Game of Thrones fever at this time.
Yeah.
So I'm like I'm living on a couch still. I'm still living on a couch in like this apartment in Toronto on my buddy's couch. And then I'm like, Game of Thrones, like, holy, like, F-U-C-K.
Holy shit. That honestly is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. It was your third job.
Maybe I need to get myself a bed.
What
It was
a
like Willy
story.
Wonka, you know, like it really was. Like, it was incredible. Like, I was having like an existential crisis. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is only my third job, and I'm already like on the biggest show on earth. Like,
wow.
What does that mean? Like, I'm not a really religious person, but I'm like, is there like someone looking out for me here? Like, this is fucking nuts.
I'm fucking amazing.
And I'm like eating bologna sandwiches and shit. Like, I'm poor still at this point. And then I just, when the scripts came in, I signed the contract with HBO, and like, I didn't even think about it. I'm just like, I'm going to approach this like I would be doing my own film, or like me and my friend are making like a little indie project. And like, I mean, me and Mark had like a great rapport. Like, we would do Zooms. I'd be in Toronto, he's in Northern Ireland, and like, we just kept it very simple, like two friends just working on a simple problem. And then I couldn't look at the mountain, you know, I had to keep looking at my feet, going up the little path, and then boom, and then like got great reviews, the episode, and then he brought me back for the next season. Amazing. So that was crazy. And then you know, maybe about like 6 or 7 projects in, then Handmaid's Tale happens.
The rest is history.
And I've been on it ever since. So
how many, like, if you compare like the percentage of movies or shows that do like the drawn scripts like you do, and the people who don't, or the productions who don't, like, do you have any insights on that as well?
I mean, I think most shows nowadays, like over a certain kind of budget threshold, they will all use storyboard artists in some capacity.
Okay.
Because almost everything involves visual effects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because visual effects have been the cost has been lowered. So any show, no matter the budget, they can always afford something VFX wise. And you know, a storyboard artist is a great way to plan it out with your actors, your location, etc.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So once again, yeah, I think that's, and also you also look at Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios has this like murderer's row of storyboard artists. Like, they're the best of the best from LA. They all work at Marvel headquarters in like Santa Monica, and they will design the film. Like, whatever Marvel film is coming out, they design the bulk of the film, all of the action sequences, this team of storyboard artists. And then they hire the director. The director comes in, they direct the actors, and like they're like the intimate performance moments, the humor moments. But the majority of the film has already been like completely designed.
The artists are driven. That's amazing.
Because it's like Kevin Feige is the guy, right? He's the overseeing producer, and then he dictates this massive team of storyboard artists to create the film.
Crazy.
And then the director comes in, they do the live action stuff, and you know, tie it all together. They have a very interesting system. And so because of the Marvel model, you're seeing a lot more of this. Like, the storyboard artist position is like finally getting, you know,
growing also.
It's becoming more elevated, and like there's a little bit more appreciation, I guess, or respect. Yeah. So it's kind of nice, you know. I think, you know, we work hard. We try to do the best work we can, so we deserve a little bit of credit, I think.
That's incredible.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, you helped create the Handmaid's Tale world, kind of, and thank you for that.
I mean, a little bit. I mean, like I said, I'm definitely on the Handmaid's Tale. I'm the director's dictating everything, and I'm just drawing their vision, and I'm just trying to spice it up and make it look as perfect as I can. But like, all credit is to the directors on this show, and the script writers, and Bruce, and of course Lizzie, who ties everything together.
Yeah.
I would never take credit for anything like that. But you know, like, storyboard artists were always overlooked. We're never given credits. Usually, most storyboard artists are not part of the union, like in Canada.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, we should, like, you know, I don't know, it's crazy.
Let's protest.
That is crazy. I mean, that's insane. That's such a huge part of the process that's shocking to me.
In the States, they are part of the union. And it's good for people to understand this process and this kind of like maybe misunderstood job that I have. And I also pitched an art department book as well.
That would be cool.
And that was going to be like a collaboration of me and Elizabeth Williams.
Oh, amazing.
Where we, you know, Elizabeth Williams was making like, you know, really cool maquettes of like, you know, like the eyes compound. Like, she was building these detailed models, like very old school, like awesome, like tangible craftspersonship.
That's cool.
And then, you know, you had like Adriana, she built like the ballet sets.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing. Yeah.
And then we have like all our graphics people like Sean and Melissa and Liam, like they're phenomenal at doing graphics. So like, why not compile all that together? All the concept paintings I've done, throw them in there as well. And like Julia's sets, costumes, the picture cards, like everything, like put it all into a huge, but like approach it from a different like stylistic aesthetic than that first book.
I think y'all should also like open a space for all of this stuff too, that people can like go see, you know, like at the end of the show have like a like a Universal
gallery
style, like like you go in, you walk through a warehouse, you look at all the like props and
like a museum,
costumes, a museum,
of.
like a Handmaid's museum that could be there for like a temporary, a year or something afterwards that you could go look at.
That's like a really good idea. Like that's amazing. Like, are you sure? Do you want to be my agent? Like
I do. I would love to.
No, I'll pitch that like for real. Like that's a phenomenal idea. I mean, like when I pitch something, like it doesn't mean anything. Like me pitching something means nothing. Just so you know, like don't have high hopes. But you know what? Like that. But they could do like a pop-up or something, you know?
If we all come together and we're like, listen, we need people are ready for this.
We just have to like strengthen numbers, like, social media, just be like, we want this, like make it happen. Like this would be incredible.
Yeah.
A pop-up that with like mannequins that have like the handmade garb, like that'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. Really cool.
So my final questions are to put in one of two our members who couldn't be here today. So one is from Scarlett, who lives in Puerto Rico, and one is from Raquel. She's Spanish. What do you use for inspiration, and what is the most challenging part in this whole process you do?
For inspiration, I mean, now, like, the inspiration is the show itself. I'll look on past episodes that I loved for visual inspiration, but at the same time, you don't want to repeat yourself. You want the show to evolve every season and not like become a cliche of itself. And like inspiration just comes from like, it's just a collage of movies I've grew up with, movies I'm into, movies the directors are into, that they may bring up a reference to a shot, a lighting scheme, or like a camera move that they love. And when it comes to like my artistic technique itself, I am informed by like, comic book artists that I grew up with. I like to add a lot of chiaroscuro and shadow to the characters and really like etch them out. So there's a lot of like life drawing theory. Like when you're drawing life, like from a live model, you use like a Conte crayon and you really etch it out with light, as opposed to just doing lines only. Like you really try to sculpt them. And there's a phenomenal genius artist in Toronto named Dan Milligan. He is a storyboard artist as well, and he's like a Renaissance artist born in the wrong century. This guy should have been born in Italy in the 1400s. He is like a universal talent, and he's been a huge inspiration to me. So I'm going to give him a shout out. Like I've definitely like looked at his storyboards, and maybe I'll try a little bit of that technique. You know what I mean? He's the GOAT. So shout out to Dan Milligan. That guy is my absolute hero. But yeah, a lot of comic book artists, like even Frank Miller, who did like The Dark Knight Returns and like Sin City, a little bit of Frank Miller rawness in there. Like I love Frank Miller. He's like one of my goats as well.
Yeah, and he does the kind of the splashes of red too, Frank Miller.
Oh yeah, that's a little,
that's really cool.
Stylistically, because like you want the cape to like Handmaid's dress, you want it to pop a little.
Exactly. Yeah. You gotta have that stand out.
It feels very desaturated, but the red always stands out, so you want to emphasize that.
Totally.
And, I get real artsy with it, even if it's not necessary. I just like to get a little artsy.
It's perfect.
Those are my influences for sure. There's a million other influences I could probably mention, and even Colin. Seeing Colin's footage back in the early days, how he composes his shots, the lens choices. I'm like, oh, I get it. I get the show now. I get it. And so I always think back to what would Colin do, what would Zoe do, and then and when I'm working with Nicola, she'll bring something new. So like it's always evolving. And Stuart Campbell, Stuart Biddlecombe, we have some amazing cinematographers in the show.
Yeah. The show is just.
I'm amazed.
And actually, my good friend Tom Henderson, he's the gaffer.
Yeah.
He ended up shooting the barn. I'm very happy for him.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
We hear his name lots. He's well loved, it seems.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry we kept you so long. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
It was very, very interesting.
I really appreciate you guys putting this podcast on. I think it's like phenomenal.
Thank you.
I will definitely. I can't wait to hear the next episode. Like I've been listening to your episodes, so
it'll be you, bro. It'll be you.
Yeah, you're our next one. We definitely would love to talk to you again when we start season 6.
Yeah, we want you back next year.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
You want me back? I'll come back.
We'll have you back for sure.
I would love it. If you don't mind me ranting and like shouting and swearing and drinking coffee and vaping, and all my idiosyncrasies.
That's all the vibe we're going for here.
I love it.
Yeah, we can switch to beer actually next time after a couple hours.
I'm so down for that. Oh my god.
All right. Have a great day. Go do Star Trek, I guess. But thank you for sparing us a very long lunch hour.
Thank you for your time.
Live long and prosper.
That's right.
Under his eye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.